9:05 Friday morning. Nicole Kozlova is a Toronto-born Ukraine international. She plays her football with Denmark in Denmark with KB Hugga, and we asked her to come on and she agreed to take our call. Nicole, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thanks a million for coming on. I appreciate that it's these are hard conversations to have and to have to visit with the unfolding situation there. How are you?
Holding up. I think reality's kind of set in. It's been a week, day 8, but of course every single day something new comes out, and it doesn't get any easier, but you kind of find new ways to adjust.
Is it hard? I mean, it's for the rest of us. We're watching this entire thing unfold on our TVs, on social media, in the newspapers. Is it tough for you to even watch some of that stuff?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially seeing places that I've been, or my friends have lived, being completely destroyed and lives being lost, and videos shown of little kids. Yeah, every single photo that comes out is really hard to see.
Your folks are from Dnipro, if I'm right.
Yes, they're from Dnipro.
Which is it's on the east side and inland a little bit. Yeah,
east side a bit more inland than other cities.
It's hard. If I'm right, 10 days ago you were at a Ukraine camp in Turkey, a training camp.
Yeah. We had it was the international break, so we had a training camp. The girls got together in Turkey, and we had quite a successful training camp.
And you're obviously at that point, you're preparing for games. Your head is very much in that mindset.
Yeah. So it was a friendly tournament in Turkey. We had 3 games. We won all 3, and our focus there was prep for our World Cup qualifiers games in April. And that was our whole mindset, the whole camp. We had a few new girls, so it was, kind of having them join the team. Our coaching staff is on the newer side. So during camp, all our focus was on football and making sure our team could grow and get better on the pitch. But again, things quickly changed the day after.
Was it Wednesday that you broke up to go back to your clubs?
Yeah, on Wednesday, all the players kind of went their own ways. That was kind of our travel day. So some went back to Ukraine. Some people like me went to their teams abroad.
Was there a sense at that point as to what was unfolding, Nicole? And it took the rest of the world, obviously, who were only casually observing, maybe by surprise to a degree. Was there a sense at that point for you guys as to what was unfolding?
Well, of course, these discussions kind of have been going on for a while. I think, as we all know now, the war has been going on since 2014. But I think most from what I've talked to girls prior, we didn't really think he would do this. We didn't think it was possible. It's not something you can ever imagine actually happening. So I don't think any of us really thought it was going to happen. And on Wednesday, we were all happy, playing cards at the airport, chatting away, talking about our trips home, kind of when they're going to get to their house, so-and-so. And so I think, honestly, it took by surprise every single one of us Thursday morning, when I know some of our girls woke up to bombs going off. And I woke up to lots of texts from my American friends asking me if I was okay. And I was very confused at first when I just woke up. And once I learned the news again, you just instantly start reaching out to people,
And your parents, had your parents were over to see you in Turkey, Nicole?
Yeah. So I guess you can say thankfully, but also I know we have this bittersweet feeling, but my family is safe in Turkey right now. As they came to watch, they're my national team's biggest supporters. They kind of try to see us wherever we go. Of course, they're there to support me, but again, I think they've become my whole team's kind of family at our away games. Yeah. They were in Turkey with us.
And have they stayed on in Turkey now?
Yeah, they're currently in Turkey. I've had lots of talks with them, and they hope they can make it back to Ukraine once it's safe, because no matter, they want to be there helping, as I think the whole world has seen that every Ukrainian, is stepping up to fight for their country. And I know my parents and siblings kind of feel the same way. They want to help in as many ways as they can. Right now they're doing it from afar, and when they can, they'll do it more hands-on.
Well, it's such a tough decision to have to make. I was listening to an interview with a Ukraine MP last weekend who was saying that if you had asked her 3 days previous about the idea of taking up a rifle, that she would have, it just wouldn't, she would have been in the same mindset that all the rest of us are at the minute, and that you just can't comprehend it. And suddenly, when you're faced with this thing and you have to make that choice, she was giving the interview, as I said, with she had a rifle in her hand, and it becomes a reality and a tough choice to have to make, Nicole. That's something that nobody ever wants to be confronted with.
Yeah, and I think nobody really knows how they're going to react to it until, it's put in front of them. But I know personally I've been so proud of seeing, as much how it's awful that they even have to do that, but to see kind of every Ukrainian just step up and do it. Yeah.
Is it hard to be, in some ways, to not be there, Nicole, to a degree?
No, definitely. I know I felt, especially the first few days, I felt really, really guilty that, I was just with my teammates and I got to go back to Denmark, train, even play a game 3 days later. And my teammates, some of them are living in bomb shelters. Others, it took them 4 days to get home, just jumping from place to place. And each of them is, scared for their country, scared for their life. Like, they never know, even though right now, as I know, all of them are in kind of the quieter cities, but it's one of those, you go to bed, when are we next? So it's, I know I felt a bit of guilt kind of that I'm here safe. And it could have been me, could have been my family. And, yeah.
Do you know what the situation is with, say, your home house at the moment? Is it all intact? Is everything okay in your home area?
Yeah, so Dnipro, as you mentioned, it's more on the inside. So as of now, it's more on the quieter side, and it's actually really bit, there's a lot of volunteers going out. It's, like I said, the outside's a bit more safe there right now. So the house is intact, but a lot of volunteers going outside. And I know in Dnipro, everybody's doing what they can to help the cities nearby that are not so lucky at the moment.
So there's almost like a migration, not just away from Dnipro at the moment. There is a move towards some of the more affected cities.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of people, are leaving to go west. But again, everybody is trying to send as much as they can to those cities that are really being impacted right now. So making those, I know in Dnipro, they are sitting on the ground and spending hours and hours making those Molotov bottles that the government had asked for help to make. So you just see people there sitting, kind of just working hours because that's all they really can do to help.
In terms of your own situation at the moment, is there other Ukrainians in your own locality? Are there people that you've been able to not only just keep in touch with, but people that you've actually been able to meet up with who are going through the very same thing?
Yeah, I right away when this all happened, I knew I wanted to find people kind of in this neighborhood, people in Denmark who are Ukrainians or just that support. And on Sunday we had an official demonstration in Copenhagen that I went to, and over 10,000 people came, which was great to see in such, I guess, a smaller country. And then even just yesterday, I met up with a few Ukrainians, and it was thousands and thousands of bags of donation around Denmark. And we spent kind of hours just organizing them and sorting them and putting them into boxes to then be mailed off to Ukraine. And so, I was there for a few hours with some of my teammates, and just being surrounded by, it was other Ukrainians who either moved to Denmark, but even then there were some Danish people who aren't Ukrainian, but were there to help. And you just see them work tirelessly. Like, I didn't see a single person take a single break when I was there, just opening a bag, sorting it, putting it into boxes, taping up the box, putting it on the truck and so on. And it was just consistent hours of work. But first you got to see those thousands of donations, which, came from all around Denmark. And then seeing all these volunteers, I know they feel kind of the same way, that they're from afar. And so they're trying to do what they can. And it's a minimum that someone can do when they're here.
I presume there's nothing else on your mind, Nicole, pretty much. It's you're waking up every morning, if you can manage to get some sleep, and you're hoping to see some positive news from these loose peace negotiations that are ongoing.
Yeah, definitely. I'm someone who tries to stay off my phone. But in times like this, I think I'm constantly on my phone, just, trying to get the most recent news, check in with my teammates, check in with friends, family, to make sure, everybody's alive. And I go to bed making sure everybody's alive. And then I wake up and the first thing I do is always grab my phone, because it's one of those, I'm, hoping that it's quiet, like there's no, nothing crazy has happened again. And then I'm crossing my fingers that maybe one day I'll pick up my phone and it's all over. But for now, yeah, I'm constantly, that it's always on the back of my mind, no matter what I'm doing.
It's really interesting because obviously, I guess in sport there is this much softer sort of form of nationalism and being proud in your country. And I guess what we saw on Saturday night, certainly in this part of the world, we kind of would have watched the scenes between Mykolenko and Zinchenko, but before the Everton-Manchester City game, this deeply emotional moment where there was a Ukrainian player on both squads. Have you thought about what it's going to be like when you and your teammates do get back together again and do eventually play that first game, or that next game, I should say, as a national team?
Yeah, I know right now for a lot of my teammates, football isn't even crossing their mind, just because, that's it's not even close to being important to them right now. But I know when we do have the opportunity to get back together, I don't think there's any words to describe it, but I don't think anything or anybody's going to be able to break us. And I know already, we sing the anthem before every national team game, and a lot of us already sing it very loud. And I just, I think when that anthem gets turned on and we're all there lined up hugging each other, tears will be shed, but it's just going to be so much strength flowing from each of us together. I don't really know how to describe what that's going to be like. I know I am looking forward to that day where we can safely, and things have been, resolved, or I don't know if you can say resolved, but just waiting for that day that I'm back with them, doing what we love to do as a group. But I think there's going to be even so much more meaning to it. And yeah, I know I'm going to carry that with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and I think we're all very much willing that day to come much sooner rather than later. Although there was a chill, I have to say, yesterday when the Macron reports of having spoken with Putin and the idea that he wants to take Ukraine, certainly I think sent a chill across the world. Have you any sense or any thoughts about this sanctions approach, Nicole? What are your any sense of whether that's going to be do enough to shift the system from where it's at the minute?
Oh, yeah, honestly, some things you try not to go too much into, but I think in times like this, they are very important and a necessity. And I know especially something that we as Ukrainians right now are really pushing is, a no-fly zone. Something that I think is it's very important and needed right now for Ukraine. With, we see cities being destroyed by missiles right now. We see the whole nuclear kind of being taken over, and that's huge and very, very, very scary. So I do think these sanctions have been important and needed, very necessary, but it's not over, and they're not stopping yet. So you need to keep doing things, I think, is the most important. I think that's also something I've been pushing kind of from here. It's not a one-day thing. You posted it to support, or like I wore a shirt on Saturday, but since then, every day I've been doing something for Ukraine to keep, informing people, making those donations, spending time. That's I think how I feel, that it's just not a one and done thing for sure.
Yeah, well, you're doing some great stuff there. We really appreciate you jumping on the call this morning to give us and our audience a bit of a sense of what it's like for you. Do stay well as you can. Thanks a million for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. That's Nicole Kozlova she's a Ukraine footballer. She played in Tala back in November against the Republic of Ireland, and really finds herself in that desperate situation now, and for her and her family as well. And we appreciate her taking the time to jump on this morning. And by the way, a reminder as well that if you are of a mind to give money or to be able to donate in some small way at all, the Irish Red Cross website is probably as good a place as you can go, and to directly support the effort on the ground there to help out with the effort. So that's probably the best place to do that. It's 19 minutes past 9. It's Friday morning. You're watching OTB AM.